Welcome back to thatmetalstation.com. I have the pleasure of being on the phone with Miss Doro Pesch. Doro, how are you today?
Hey, very good, very good. Coming back from Belgium, and we played our first festival in 1.5 years, and it was the first real festival, and it was awesome. It was called Alcatraz, and many great bands played there. So it was really wow. It felt good. Yeah, felt like the good old times, and so many metalheads and everybody on fire, and yeah, so cool.
Oh, that's wonderful. It's got to be great to get back out into the scene and get back out to those big festivals. I know that you love live performances. I know that you love putting out music, but your live performances are your heart, right?
Yes, totally. Yeah. Of course, I like writing songs and recording, but live, that's that's a whole different level. And yeah, when I see the fans, and yeah, when I see they're excited. Oh man, there's nothing like it. I can sing 10 times louder and with more power than I could ever do in a studio setting. So yeah, so I'm definitely I live for the fans. Yeah, always have and always will.
Yes, and you know that's kind of what brought us here today is September 24th, next month. You are releasing a brand new live album, Triumph and Agony, in its entirety. And what an amazing live production this is. It's so spectacular. Tell me a little bit of how excited you were to actually finally do Triumph and Agony live, because I think everybody knows this is one of your favorite albums ever.
Yes, that's right, man. And it was done in a time. It was we released it and made it in '87, so it brought back so great memories. And yeah, and a couple of years ago, I called my guitar player Tommy Bowen and I said, "Hey Tommy, shall we play the Triumph and Agony one time in its entirety, because we never did, we never had." And he said, "Oh man, I was waiting 30 years for that phone call. That's a great idea. Let's do it." So we did a couple of tours in Spain, in America, played some festivals, Norway Rock, Grass Pop, Sweden Rock. And Sweden Rock, we recorded it really nice. The camera work was great. So it's a live CD and a Blu-ray, and it looks great. It sounds great. And at first we didn't even plan on doing it or releasing the Triumph and Agony live. But when we couldn't tour anymore, then I went back and looked through everything, bootlegs and all the recordings, and I thought, yeah, let's do it. So it was a joy to do it, to work on it, and Sweden Rock was the very first time we ever did it, that we ever played the whole entire record. And it was so cool to play some songs we've never played before, like Make Time for Love or Kiss of Death, or even 3 Minute Warning. I think it was in our set list maybe in '88 one time or something. So it was really a treat, and everybody had a blast. It was super.
Well, that's awesome. I want to ask you about 3 Minute Warning, because vocally that sounds like one of the more difficult songs, just because how quickly you have to go through the vocal patterns and the lyrics. How was it playing some of these songs that you rarely or never had played live on stage?
Yeah, actually, it felt great. It felt great, and we were wondering why did we never play this live or put it in our set list. But 3 Minute Warning, it's a very fast song, and my first bands that were actually kind of speed metal, so I love it. But just when Johnny D, our drummer, is playing it too fast, the guitar players, they're like, "Oh no," it's hardcore, and the lyrics, I always try to squeeze in all the words. When it's too fast, then and I make up new lyrics, so I'm flexible. but it was great to play, and we put it in our set list again. It's really nice and has good energy, powerful, short, and it was the second song we ever wrote for the Triumph and Agony album. The first one was East Meets West, and the second one was 3 Minute Warning, and the third one was Make Time for Love. And it was actually really interesting because we were playing the Ouija board. The producer, Joey Ballin, he showed me all kinds of stuff, and as a teenager, I was curious, and I thought it was totally forbidden in Germany, the Ouija board, and and then of course when something is forbidden, you want to do it. Of course, did it, and I said, hey, can you ask this whatever it is, spirits, soul, and can you ask if there's a message for me? And the message was make time for love. So we wrote our first ballad for the Triumph and Agony, and it was make time for love, and that was such a nut song, but we never played it live because the bigger song was always Für immer. That was the first song in 3 languages, English, German, and a Spanish sentence, and we played it every single time, like since '87. And Make Time for Love was just a little bit in the shadow. And then when we started rehearsing, it was so nice, felt so good. I thought, this is wonderful. So I think all the songs on the Triumph and Agony were very special, all the same quality level, and really unique. And it's great. We always play them, but the whole album we never did. So Sweden Rock was the first time, and it felt it had the most magic. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you can feel the magic in this live album. I'm a big fan of live albums, but I'm also aware that not all of them are good. Sometimes it just doesn't work. I think especially for albums that, the band had planned on doing a live album at this certain show, and then things just go wrong and they put it out anyway. But this is spectacular. The production is perfect. It really captures the audience in the background, just sharing the moment with you. It feels like a big family gathering. And so my next question for you is, although you did the album in its entirety, you didn't follow the track list on the album. You actually switched things up a little bit, which I enjoyed because it sounds like you just come right out of the bat with Touch of Evil. And it's such a driving, hardcore song. Tell me a little bit about how you put this playlist together, how you and the band did, and what your thoughts were behind the set list itself.
Yeah, actually, the original Triumph and Agony was like, opening up with All We Are, and that's pretty impossible, opening up with All We Are. You can't go anywhere because that's the biggest anthem, and so we thought, let's, the opener should be a little bit mysterious and, heavy, and I love to scream over that song, and it was actually very nice when we played it in the studio. I told my manager at the time, I said, I need somebody with lots of power because I want to scream over that song. He said, I will have a surprise for you. Next day, I went to the studio. It was the Power Station studio in New York City, and Cozy Powell was there. And he said, you need some power. And I said, oh, wow. And he played so great, and so much energy, so much power. So I have the best memories on Touch of Evil as well. So I thought, opening up with Touch of Evil, that's cool. And second is, I think, I Will Ruins. That's usually our opener. And third one is East Meets West, and I can always hop on Tommy Bowen's shoulder. Our guitarist from '87, and and Tommy is still strong as steel, so I can hop on him, and and we always do some little things. And Emma is always in the middle because it's so nice, emotional. It touches people's heart and soul, and then finishing with All We Are, and so I always feel it out, how the set list should work. But sometimes, in some other like clubs and stuff, then you think, you know what, not a ballad now, let's keep it heavy, and so I always change it up, every day actually. The guys in the band like, oh no, we changed again, but I feel the fans, I always feel it out, what they want to hear and how they, what kind of mood they're in, and so there's no night like the night before. You can always expect something different or different songs. Mm-hmm.
That's so cool, and it's it's funny because everybody knows you as the Queen of Metal, but I always see you as like the biggest fan of metal. Like it doesn't matter how old we get. Like when people come into my studio, they're like, dude, this looks like a teenager's room because I have all my metal merch hanging on the wall. And I'm like, it is a teenager's room. It doesn't matter how old I am.
Oh, I would love it. We would click. Oh, I would love to see that.
But I always see you as you're still a teenager in the metal scene, just rocking, kicking ass. And I was watching video from, I believe it was 2018. It was a Las Vegas Music Award that you attended and also played at, and you are just on stage kicking everybody's ass, and it looks like you're having the best of times. It's just,
Yeah.
I love it, and you still get the biggest kick out of being on stage and just performing for the fans.
Totally, and especially that night you just mentioned in Las Vegas. Oh man, it was so great getting this beautiful award. I was so touched. It was so great, and then all kinds of musicians hopped on stage, and we did a little jam session. And I think Dee Snider was there too, and so many great musicians. And it was awesome. It was great. So I'm a big metalhead still. I'm a big metal fan, and I love to perform for metalheads, and it's like, yeah, it's definitely, that's my life. That's why I get up every morning, because of the metalheads, and because of metal. I feel it is a way of life, and metalheads connect on a very, very deep level. It's like for normal people, they can't understand, and they will not understand. You have to be a metalhead to understand, and I think that's so great. And that's the reason why wherever we go on tour, you don't even have to talk in the same language. You totally click. You totally understand each other, and and your friends. Friends you can trust, and usually friends for lifetime, and I love that. I deeply appreciate that.
Oh, I totally agree. And you're right. There's so many shows that I've been to out of state or, not in my hometown, and have met people that I still talk with. And that's kind of why I love doing interviews, because just being a part of the metal family in that sense, and getting, people like you to the fans, and getting them to understand how you feel and where you're coming from with your music. And it's just this great sense of family, like you said. It's wonderful.
Totally. And what you just said, like interviewing people as well, and going to shows. I love doing interviews with journalists who know, who grew up in the same metal times, who know the same bands or performances. Oh man, I enjoy that so much. Even with my closest friends, I don't feel that closeness. When they are not into music, then I actually have not much to talk about, and and it's different breed, and then I feel closer to people who are totally into it and who know about it, and yeah.
That's funny you saying, I don't really know what to talk about unless we're talking about metal, because I can totally understand that. We can only talk about the weather and what's going on in the world so much before it's like, have you heard the new Doro album?
Yeah, that's so cool, and I'm connected with so many people all over the world, and then I always get nice gifts and stuff. I just got the Dio book, the new biography, and I thought, oh man, that's great, and some other stuff. Sometimes I get some bootlegs, and I know bootlegs is not whatever. It doesn't hurt, too much anymore. It was a big problem in the 80s and the 90s, but now I really love these bootlegs. They're sometimes done with so much, with so much love and care, and and sometimes they look unbelievable. Usually paintings where the artists are just trying to become artists. But I love them, and I love to collect all that stuff too. So.
No, and you know what? Maybe back in the day, bootlegging hurt a little bit, but I don't think metal would have come as far if it wasn't for the tape trading days, because I grew up in that time where you tape traded with your friends, and that's how you found out about different metal bands. I'm into a lot of extreme death metal and stuff, and that genre would have died out if it wasn't for tape trading and a little bit of bootlegging here and there. But we make up for it now when we see our favorite bands on tour. You go buy the merch, buy the new CD. You get to hang out with the band at the merch table a little bit, and so I think it's worked itself out, and now everything's bootlegged on the internet, so it doesn't even matter.
Exactly, no, exactly. Yeah, yeah. No, that's right. That's right. Yeah, sometimes I when we were on tour and and then outside there were always these bootleggers with the T-shirts, and I was so upset because the bootleg T-shirts, they looked sometimes better than our own.
Oh no.
And I thought, oh yeah, and I thought, get me one. I told the road crew, I want that bootleg T-shirt, and and it was wild. The times they were great, and yeah, I missed stuff. I missed that whole culture, and of course I missed the record stores. That was when I first came to New York. And I was blown away. The record stores were open 24 hours. There was this record store chain, Tower Records, where we did many in-stores. And there were 24 hours, and I was hanging out till 6 o'clock in the morning, and then I got it. Everybody went to work, and I went home, and, with a sack full of records and, vinyl, and wow, so, yeah, now there are hardly any record stores in the world, and it's, no more magazines and all that good stuff. And yeah,
I miss those days very much.
Me too. Yeah.
It's hard to sit here and think that Miss Doro Pesch was actually asking some of the road crew to go buy her own bootleg merch in the parking lot of a huge festival.
Yeah, and then I wanted to put it on the in the show, and then the manager said, "You don't put on that bootleg T-shirt. We have to sell our merch." And then I thought, "But I love it. The colors are better." And and he said, "No. No. You can sleep in it. You can sleep in your tour bus, but not on your show."
Not in front of the fans that we're trying to sell merch to. You want to make money, don't you?
Yeah. The managers always wanted to do that. Yeah, of course, they always had to take care of that, but I never cared for that. I just wanted to rock, but yeah. Yeah.
That's great. Well, speaking of artwork, you guys kind of revamped the Warlock Triumph and Agony album and used the original artwork by I have his name here.
Jeffrey Gillespie. He's an English guy. He lives in France, and I remember when we did the original Triumph and Agony album, I talked to my manager, Alex was his name, and I said, "Alex, I would love to have a really great artist, a painter who's painting the Warlock like it should be done, like the Warlock, like this gray-haired, long-haired, male witch, like thin and old, and like scary." And she said, "Oh, I think I know a guy you guys should meet." So I met Jeffrey Gillespie, and he said, "Yeah, I can do some sketches." And then a couple of weeks later, I went to the manager's office, and he put everything on the floor, and there were so many great sketches. I couldn't decide which one I wanted. And then I said, "Jeffrey, you know what? Just do your thing. Do your thing." And then we had actually two album covers, the front and the back. That was as nice. I was like in the Warlock's hand, and he was squeezing, and oh man, it was so cool. So I thought the Triumph and Agony live cover has to be a combination between great live shots and between the iconic paintings of Jeffrey, and then we put it all together, and I found a great graphic artist who was doing it, and I was a graphic artist before I started music, so I know a little bit what to do or how to do it, so when I have somebody who understands, then it's easy, and I think it came out really good, and the record is coming in the biggest album cover again. It's a marbled vinyl, and it's life size. It's the Warlock like hugging me, and it's really nice. I mean, for collectors, like one girl, she saw it on the internet, and she said, "Oh, that will scare any criminal away. I will put it in my window." And I thought, yeah, do it then.
That would scare anybody away, or just attract the type of people that you want to hang out with, as in metalheads. So.
Oh yeah. They should bring some beers, right? Yeah.
And I also noticed that now the pre-order for the album is up, and you can check that out at doro.us. Also, the links are up on your Facebook page and all that. But you also have a figurine that you get a little figurine that you can buy in like a box set for the pre-order. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're all like that old school stuff. There's a box set. It has a cassette, buttons, patches, and it has that figurine, and it's the same thing you see on the album cover, the Warlock hugging me or squeezing me to death, that thing. And it's a figurine, it's a doll, and it's all hand painted. And I met with the people who are doing it, and I said, man, you have to put more makeup on my face. And the lady said, really? And I said, yeah, more is better. And she said, oh, okay. And I said, well, it's metal, you need full eye makeup. And she said, okay, so I'm hoping it will come out good. But as we speak, they're painting all these figurines. I think it's 2000. It's the limited edition, and that comes in the box set as well. And it's probably fun to have it, in your living room next to the Kiss figurines or dolls.
I was just thinking the same thing, next to all the Kiss figurines, and yeah.
Yeah. It's for collectors. It's for the diehard fans. It's maybe not for everybody, but people who like to collect that metal stuff, like us.
Yeah. Like exactly. Like I said, my studio looks like a teenager's bedroom still. So yeah, I could see. But like you said, 2000 limited to that box set. So yeah, for the diehard collectors, you better get in there and pre-order that album right away. It comes out September 24th. Now, Doro, I also want to ask you because, of course, while doing the research for this, I was listening to the live album really constantly all week, just turning it back and forth, and I was like, I should go back and listen to the original as well. And so many compliments I want to give you. One is your voice today sounds more metal than ever. I love what you did on stage at Sweden Rock Festival. Obviously, your voice is your instrument, just like a guitar player changes strings and, drummers put new skins. How do you take care of your voice so that way you can always be up on stage taking care of the fans in such a metal fashion?
Yeah, it's actually all about the fans. When I see the fans, it just pops out. I can just belt it out. There's no tricks. There's no warming up. Nothing. It just comes out. And the more you do it, I think the stronger the pipes are getting. So when you use it a lot, when you sing a lot, then that's good. But I don't do anything special. And
really,
it's just probably from many years of touring, and and sometimes you don't get any sleep, sometimes you're sick as a dog, which I'm always sick as a dog on tour. Usually we tour in the winter time, but the voice is always there. And immediately when I hop on stage and I see the fans, then it's there, and we can go and have fun.
That's so rad. 'Cause I know a lot of vocalists, and some are like, oh no, you got to take a gallon of water and put honey and cayenne pepper and lemon juice in it, and it'll keep you going for the tour. And you just kind of rock and roll with it. It's when it's time to be on stage, your voice is ready to go.
Yeah, rock and roll it. Yeah. No, I know many singers, they're warming up, and it's probably a good idea, but I never did. I heard that Ronnie James Dio was never warming up either. I think I heard that. I'm not 100% sure, but I think. I thought, if he's not doing it, I never did. In the beginning, when I started my first bands, I had some bands before Warlock. It was Snakebite and Beast and Attack, and then Warlock. I was still working. And then, I had to drive everybody home. I had to drive to the rehearsal. I had to drive to the gigs, sometimes to foreign countries. And, stress out just like from work, going straight on stage. And then, probably that's a good training, you just do it wherever, whenever, So, it's still that way. I still drive everybody home, and then I go on stage. Or actually, afterwards, I drive everybody home. Yeah,
that's fantastic. Something else I noticed listening to the new live album compared to the one from the '80s. Obviously, technology's come a long way. So, in the last 35 years, recording the original was a lot different from recording an album today. Everything's digital, and back then it was reel tape and what have you. But it's cool because if you listen back to the original, it sounds almost like a live performance. And the fact that, the band was playing it live, there was no, oh, stop, retake that part again. You guys recorded it in a session, and it's really magical because it almost sounds like a kind of a live recording brought to life when you listen to the new live album that comes out on the 24th. A lot of people that knew I was going to do this interview wanted me to ask you, what are some of the changes that you've noticed in metal, be it recording or touring, what are some of the changes, good and bad, that you're experiencing now?
Oh man, I tell you, I think in a different, the last 1.5 years with no touring, that was quite a change, which I wasn't used to it because I was always on tour. Sometimes, time is on your side. Like the time when we did Triumph and Agony, it was 87, 88. Boy, it was the highlight of metal. We, just came off tour with Judas Priest in Europe. Then we went on tour with Wasp, and then on tour with Ronnie James Dio behind Triumph and Agony, and then in the States it was Megadeth. So, man, the best memories, that was when metal was so alive and well. Headbangers Ball was going on, MTV played all the metal videos. I miss that. I think that was better in the late 80s. Now you can have everything available when you watch whatever, YouTube and stuff. And I think it's too easy to get the stuff. I think in the beginning, you had to really fight for something, you had to, work your butt off to get a record or a double record and stuff. And now, it is pretty much all like for free sometimes. So I think, it's sometimes not so good to have everything available at all times, and it takes the mystery away a little bit too. And in recording, I went back and forth with live recording, everybody in the studio at one time, or sometimes like with one person I really like, and then we did a couple of songs together, and then this one person did everything because it was so perfect. So so every recording, every record was different, and I prefer when everybody is in one room, absolutely. But sometimes one-on-one or writing a great song, that's always the best. I think with two people, I like that. Of course, it can be a great song, with 5 people or the whole band. But I think the really, really meaningful songs, that's usually good when there are only 2 people in the room, 2 people with good chemistry and who understand. And and I tell you a funny story. With the last song on this Triumph and Agony album, we were done with the whole recording and stuff. It was already being mixed, and the producer back then, it was Joey Bannon and me, we were sitting in our apartment, we were roommates, and we were so sad that it was all over. It was like totally depressing. And what can we do with ourselves? You don't even know what to do with yourself. Even after a tour, it feels like that sometimes. And then he said, well, what shall we do? Shall we go to the movies? And I was like, oh no. Shall we go have dinner? No. Shall we write another song? Okay. And he said, what kind of song would you like? And I said, I would like to have the most brutal, aggressive, fucked up song, fastest song, the heaviest song we've ever done. He said, okay. And then out came this ballad für immer. The first ballad in German, English and Spanish. And it was like, wow. And then we felt, oh, it's so magical. But it was totally planned different. So, and then we recorded it, and that became the second single. All We Are was the first video and first single, and Für immer was the second single and second video I did in Louisiana, in Baton Rouge, in New Orleans, and it was awesome. So but sometimes you make a plan and then you totally wind up somewhere else, and it's most of the time it's for the better.
I love that story because for Irmer, obviously that's a crowd favorite, but on the live album, it brings back ballads, because I don't think people really do ballads anymore, and when they do, they're not as ballady. They don't capture that feeling that like that song does. And on the live album, when you're singing the chorus, it's magical, and like I almost can feel the energy from the crowd as well. Like it's just, it chokes you up a little bit, because it's such a good song, and you sing it so well, and your band is just top notch in key with each other. I know that you told me that the drummer was speeding up a little bit, and the guitar players were trying to keep up, but on the album you can't even tell. It sounds so magical and tight, man.
Yeah, that was so great on the Sweden Rock performance. Everything was just like the way it should be, with the speeding up. I meant sometimes other shows, or when there's so much excitement, or when we play in whatever, let's say South America, where the metalheads are so on fire that naturally you play stuff much faster. But on Sweden Rock, everything was it hit the nail on the head. It was so on, so perfect, and not many things got screwed up, or it was easy to fix. There's always a cable which is whatever, making noise or feedback, but we could fix it good in the studio, so there was no problem, and it felt like the right thing to do. Yeah.
And I'm still kind of surprised that you didn't actually plan on recording this. This was kind of an afterthought during COVID, and you guys just happened to have all this material recorded and on video already, and you just came together and was like, we should put this album out.
Yes. It was actually 6 months of work to do it all and stuff. And the Blu-ray, it has a nice documentary. It's about 90 minutes and has the Sweden Rock live show. But it was a lot of work, and everybody thought, we will do it quick, 1, 2, 3 months. But no, it took 6 months, and I always take longer than expected on each album. So this one was the fastest ever, but it still was half a year.
Wow.
And to make right, it's perfect, and it is always I'm always nitpicking, and everybody, I drive them crazy, but it has to be right. And
I think that's why everybody respects you, though, because you're passionate about it. You're not nitpicky. You're passionate, and you want it to be perfect not for you, but for your fans.
That's what I will tell them, people, next time. I'm passionate. I'm not nitpicking.
There you go.
But no, it has to be right, and somehow I feel it out. And when I feel something is right, then I feel at peace, and I can show it to the fans, and then that's good. But when I can't sleep at night, when I think, no, there's something wrong, and it doesn't feel good, and it definitely can drive other people or the engineers crazy. But they all survived, so it's good. It's good. And in the end, everybody's happy when the fans embrace the records. That's what it's all about. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. I know that you have a busy day. You're doing interviews left and right for the next 2 days, but I have to ask, what's up next for Doro? Obviously, you were in Belgium last weekend doing a festival, but what's up next? Are you doing more touring? Do you have anything on the docket for recording or songwriting? What are you up to in the next year?
Yeah, the next record is in the making. There's some really great songs already in the making. We have 6 already done. So I think next year will be a new record coming out, and then we're touring nonstop. We do the tour with Michael Schenker in October in the UK, and then doing some more festivals in England and all over, France and Germany and all over the world, and we're hoping that everything goes as planned. And the big Wacken Festival, they do a Wacken Festival. It's called Bullhead City. That's in September. We will play on that festival 16th of September. So I hope everything is okay, because numbers are going up here in Europe, but we keep our fingers crossed. And then next year, America, and we want to hop on tour, or maybe a nice package tour, and playing all these great festivals. So so live will be the main thing, and recording a new album, and that's the plan. Yeah, we'll see.
Wonderful, wonderful. Like I said, I know that you're a very, very busy person. Next couple days promoting this album. Triumph and Agony Live is out September 24th, 2021 here. Go pre-order it. Go to doro.us, and all the links to order here and in Europe are up there. Doro, you are an amazing person. All my colleagues told me that you are just one of the sweetest, most wonderful people to talk with, and I think they under-exaggerated. You are just a blast to talk with, and God, you are such a metalhead, and I'm a metalhead because of you and your peers. So thank you very much for taking time today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for these kind words. I wish you all the best, and stay metal, stay healthy, and I hope to see you I hope to see you soon, on tour or festivals, and all the best.